ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Modcast. I'm Zaid. It has been ages. It has been a long time, and I'm sorry about that. There's been a lot of issues on my end with the internet, um, and I've also had a few issues getting in contact with people. But someone who I've probably had the most problems getting in contact with is Rob Mod, who you can see on your screen right now. Rob is from Western Australia,
Correct.
and he's an amazing person.
That's debatable, but let's say that, yeah.
um, Seriously, we've tried to shoot this like 100 times, and this is a month after we organised to do it.
Yeah, I believe so, man.
All right. So,
Let's get
uh,
this done.
who are you, and what do you have to do with the body modification community?
Okay, my name is Rob Mott. I'm a body modification artist based in Perth, Western Australia. I own my own business with my wife, Kenzie, called Jar Modifications. We're in the very long process of hooking up a studio as we speak. I am also part of Team Metamorphosis. Your viewers may or may not know of Eva Medusa. Chances are they do.
We did an interview with her.
I know we did, but not sure if everyone's seen it, that's all.
Oh, yeah, fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, no, so I'm one of the artists who's working on her and her metamorphosis. I'm one of the scarification artists who's going to be branding some of her scales. I'm also the global director for Mod World International, which Eva and I have spoken about on here as well. And yeah, so it's all systems go with those couple of things at the moment.
Awesome. What modifications do you have, and no, just what modifications do you have is the second question.
Okay, I have scarification on my foot. That was done by my lovely wife. She did her initials for me, which was pretty cool. I have three subdermal implants in my left forearm, which I am removing in the next couple of months because I'm actually in the process of getting my other arm tattooed. That was an experimentation about 5 years ago with another very close friend of mine who's also a mod artist. Um, I have several tattoos, including my much loved and probably overhyped Star Wars sleeve that we started a few months ago. Um, let's have a think. I also have branding on my right wrist, and I have about 19 piercings at the moment, including two stretched lobrats lip, 4 mil septum. What else have we got? There's an 8 mil conch, which is probably one of my favourites. Heavy gauge nipples and various other assortments.
Nipples.
Nipples are good fun, man.
What is your favorite modification, either that you have or someone else has, or both?
Okay, the favourite ones that I have on myself. Let's have a. I mean, I love my ink because I forget I've got it a lot of the time, and I'll look down or I'll walk past a mirror and go, "Oh, look at that! What's that nice big colourful thing?" Which is always good. But then I'm a big fan of my vert. Not my vert lobrets. We've been talking about yours again. My 4 mil lobrets are a big favourite, as is my punch conch. Just
Awesome.
just personal reasons. I
Yeah.
mean, walking down the road on a windy day and hearing the wind whistling through my ear is always good for a laugh.
What got you interested in body modification?
Okay, body mods. When I was about 6 or 7, I went out with my dad one day. We went out for a cattle lunch at an old school country pub, and I saw a couple of bikies in there with tattoos everywhere and ear piercings, and I think one of them had his septum pierced as well. And I was just taken back by it. It was amazing. I thought it was just probably one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. All this color on the skin and all that. And then the old boy said, when you get a bit older, we'll both go and get our ears pierced. And funnily enough, that never happened. And yeah, it was just a growing sort of thing from there. I think I was about 11 or 12 when I first saw piercings other than sort of ears and the occasional nostril. I remember reading a magazine and seeing tongue piercings in it, which really, really opened my eyes and my mind. and I was just blown away, man. It's just sort of spiraled out of control from there.
What jobs have you worked while modified, and have you had any problems or any perks from being modified?
I've had quite a few jobs since Modified, man. I've managed alternative stores, which obviously wasn't really a problem at all. If anything, my mods probably helped me get my foot in the door there. But I've also had some quite traditional job roles as well, including, if I'm working for the government at the moment as my day job, which I believe I'm the only sort of pierced and tattooed person working there as well. Working for the TAB is generally quite a clean cut job, and then there's myself there, the Yahoo with piercings and tattoos. But given that my main clientele are people probably in their 50s and upwards, like, they love it, man. They come in when I used to dye my hair different colors. They'd come in trying to figure out what color it was going to be this week, and they'll ask me if I've got any new ink and all that, which works out really well. I've done quite a bit of hospitality as well, which once again, sometimes depending on the trying to think of the right word, depending on the location.
Yeah, okay.
You could say, on whereabouts it's situated and the style of sort of bar or cafe it is, can have different outcomes as well. But on the whole, I'd say it is, it has been largely neutral. Really, I feel they haven't taken too much away. I've had my own skills, and my resume kind of speaks for itself, man. So I've been pretty lucky, and the fact that I've got the gift of the gab and can talk my way out of a wet paper bag sort of does help as well. But I mean, then at the same time, I have had the downsides. You get people have refused me jobs and all this sort of stuff because of my appearance, and they say, "Oh no, we want someone with the neat presentation and all that." And I'll rock up. It's like, well, look, I'm clean shaven, my hair's done, and all this. I'm actually extremely well presented. I'm in a really, really boss suit. Where have I gone wrong?
Piercings clean and
the
everything.
Piercings and tattoos. It's like, but they don't change how I work. If anything, they have me working harder because I'm a happier person. So, yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, some people do have their, little image that they want to go through with. And, I mean, that's a fair call, but they just do need to realise they need to be careful about how they word it, as, discrimination is quite a big word these days. And, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and that sort of ties in with Mod World as well, and
That's
what we're trying to
correct.
do there.
That's correct.
Awesome.
But at the same time, I don't want to go jumping up and down the whole, well, you're just not giving me a job because I'm modified, you're discriminating against me. I mean, the last thing I want to do is draw attention to myself. So I basically rock up as if I'm, I've got no mods whatsoever. I mean, not that I'm ashamed of them, which is the exact opposite. But if it goes, we require this immaculate presentation or whatever it is, I just rock up as if it's a normal interview. If they bring it up, then, we go into a bit of a discussion about it.
Cool. What do you think the modified community is doing right at the moment?
What are we doing right? I think the majority of the community, the thing we're doing right is people have got questions and we're educating them, We're happy to stop and talk to people, like someone will get stopped in the street and they'll get asked, oh, why do you do this to yourself? Or, what about when you're older? And the majority of the people I know and that I've seen, instead of snapping and because I feel like it, or, getting quite narky, they'll just actually turn around and say, it's just a personal choice. I've always been interested in it. And, we're also quite open-minded, and quite accepting of new bits and pieces and change, which I think is a really, really good thing.
And anything that you think the community is doing wrong, or something that the community should improve upon?
I won't say doing wrong. As with all communities, there is conflict between some people. We get some people who, and once again, this isn't just our community, this is all communities, but it is evident within ours as well. You get some people, they do discriminate against people who may only have some of the more fashionable piercings or a little tattoo here and there. So, they'll spin around, oh, well, this person's only into it because it's fashionable or whatever it may be. Once again, even if someone does want them because it's just something fashionable, it may give them insight into the modified way of life. And something as simple as a nose or a tragus or even a navel piercing could be that catalyst that gets them to open their eyes and really does get them into our world, which, even if they don't have a lot of mods, it may just be quite small, quite mainstream. They could still really help push our image. Well, actually, I'll take that back. Not even our image further. They can help spread a positive image about the modified community in general.
The thing also about that is if someone's getting a piercing or a mod because it's fashionable, it sort of takes it to the neutral side of things. Like if I go for a job and I've got stretched ears, it's not so much of a problem anymore as it used to be however long ago.
Exactly, mate. Things like tattoos and stretched ears and facial piercings really aren't that out of place anymore. 10 years ago, I'd go for a job with my lip and it was seen, as if I had a second head or something like that, mate. But these days, it's nothing to see people in a supermarket or, even doing your more professional sales with a nose piercing or maybe a lip or something like that, mate. So, it is cool because it is getting out there and people are becoming more aware of it. And it's not seen as anything that is as shocking anymore.
What is pain in relation to body modification with you?
Look, I've actually thought about this quite a lot, man, and I'm going to quote Fakir on this one here. He actually came out and he said, pain is a intense physical sensation. Or I think the original quote, was, there is no such thing as pain, it's just intense sensation. And yep. I will agree with him in that, because if you're getting a heavy mod done, you just zone out, concentrate on breathing, and a lot of the time you can actually dial out any discomfort that you're experiencing. I think it's more so if there is going to be pain or whatever, if it's unexpected, like if you stub your toe, because you haven't had the chance to get into the zone and all that sort of thing, man.
Yeah, but so to you it's sort of like a, if you want it enough, it's not going to be a problem. If your heart's not in it, then that's when pain sort of comes into it.
Well, yeah, no, but everyone handles, what the perception of pain is going to be different. Everyone handles it differently. Some people are really good, like myself, I have no real issue with, the discomfort or anything like that. I just concentrate on breathing. I've got a really close friend, Matt, and we can do scarification on him, and he zones out so hard I've got to, almost shake him when we're finished. He almost goes into a trance, which is really cool, because I can just do whatever on him, like we can do like an hour session if need be, and he doesn't flinch. And then when we're finished, a bit of a tap on the shoulder and we got to wake him up, give him a couple of minutes and he's fine. And then you get other people who are more tightly wound and, they just don't deal with it as well. But, if they really want it, they'll go through it anyway, man.
Awesome. How has your life changed because of modification? Whether it's just being in the modified community or actually wearing and having the modifications?
I feel my life's greatly improved, man. The more mods that I get and the more, people are getting to know me through Mod World and all this, man, it's really cool. On a personal level, I feel like, I've got a tattoo on my collarbones that says my body is my canvas, which was a quote I came up with quite a few years ago, because I said, my body is my canvas, and only I will know when it's, when my work of art is complete. And it's like each new mod I get, whether it be implants or another piercing or a tattoo, is just another addition to the work of art that is myself, so it's a feeling of great satisfaction as I get more and more done. When I was younger, before I got into the mods, I never really felt like myself. I always felt like the black sheep, that just something wasn't right. And yeah, the more that I'm progressing through my personal evolution, I just am feeling more and more comfortable with who I am.
What advice would you give to any new people wanting to get into the community or just wanting to find out a little bit more about the community?
Yeah, look, I'd say go for it, there's so much information out there these days, and everyone would know at least one person who's, pierced or tattooed. Um, my biggest piece of advice would be do your homework first. You don't want to just go sort of anywhere because you just really want it done. I mean, when I first started getting into mods quite heavily when I was about 14, 15, the only sort of place that was doing it was a tattoo studio, and they didn't do piercings. And as piercings started picking up in the mid-90s, we had hairdressing salons doing nipple, navel and eyebrow piercings with a piercing gun, of all things. Just horrendous. I mean, it's not even really designed for an ear piercing, but to do eyebrows, nipples and, Lord knows what else with it was just horrifying, man. So I'd say do your homework. Don't rush into it. If you really want it, it's still going to be there, man. You can still get it done, but wait until the time's right, So find the right artist. I mean, I've walked into studios before, and just the vibe that I got. I'm not going to say it was anything to do with the artist or their qualifications, but I've gone into some quite reputable studios and I really didn't get a good vibe at all. And then I've gone into others, and you just feel comfortable. You feel that it's right, and it's like, you know what, this is really cool. I'm really happy with this one here. So find that artist that you gel with, someone who's going to listen. I mean, some people might get quite annoyed. Oh, I'm working in a studio and all I'm doing is tragus or upper ears and all this sort of stuff today. Whereas, I used to be, when I was managing a studio in the city, I think it was about 11 tongue and tragus piercings one day. And instead of getting bored, it's like, awesome, look at that, we've got another person, this is their first real, sort of real piercing aside from their lobes. And they've chosen to come and see me to do it. It's like, bring it on, let's make this, a really enjoyable experience for them.
Just a little story from my life. When I went in to get my vertical lobrets, the guy who did them, he's like, I'm so excited you have no idea how excited I am to do these.
Yeah.
Because for the past three months or so, the most advanced thing he did was like a nipple.
Oh, really?
And everything else that people have come in for the past 3 months has just been traguses and outer conch.
Yeah.
It's like, no more.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I can see where he's coming from, but at the same time, regardless of what the piercing is, even if I've done heaps of them, there's nothing like doing something like a tragus and just nailing it, dude.
Yeah.
You do it and you see it's like, man, that's just perfect. The alignment's great. It really suits the person's anatomy. It's aesthetically pleasing, which is always ideally what you want, and the customer's happy.
Yeah, he was just getting sick of doing the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got another friend, and we did she had her lip and labret pierced, and she wanted them scalpeled, and it took us a while to get around to do it, but, she'd started stretching them herself, and they were both at about 2 mil, and we ended up scalping it, and we put an 8 mil glass plug through, and, man, it was just, aesthetically, and just everything was just amazing. It all fell into place, and it looks brilliant, man. To this day, she loves it. We still get a lot of feedback on that, which is really, really cool.
Awesome. So if you guys would like to get in contact with Rob here, his page is down below, along with, I'll probably link to Metamorphosis and Modworld.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. If anyone's got any questions, they can definitely send a message through, and I'll do my best to get back to them ASAP.
And quick little fact, I passed you in page likes. Ha 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 ha. You had 79 and now I have 81. Suck it.
Well, I've got 80 now, so if everyone wants to get on and like my page, we'll get back past this young whippersnapper and teach him a thing or two about the Zeldas.
You've got more content than me. You've got stuff you can put out.
Hey, come on, you're the one with Steve following you and reblogging you, man.
Yeah. Steve Helworth follows me on Tumblr, everyone. Just suck that. So yeah. Thanks for coming in, Rob.
Thank you for having me, man.
See you later.
See you, mate.